Well, hello again to you very fine and very wonderful people. My name is Sam, of course, and I once again am here as your host for another week of the weekly series of Weird Mind Newsroom, where for another week of content will be in the focus talking about all new releases, the trailers, and news that has come to us from the information superhighway that you may have missed over the last few days. So let's not waste too much time in introductions, let's get to talking all things media that we do have in particular for this week.
Wherever I go, the wind follows.
Now on the first of the new releases is the basis of a project that has a sense that you can give a concept of horror that started off as a simple unsettling image on 4chan and then formed a series on YouTube that someone very special to you, and always will be special to you in your heart, introduced to me all those years ago, and has spawned something unique with them. But it seems the creator of this video series will be taking his concept from the world of the small screen onto the big screen itself and giving a deeper dive into the strange and unsettling world clipped outside of our own, as we have the release of the new film based on Game Parsons' series of YouTube videos with the release of the Backrooms. Now, based on the creepypasta and video series by Parsons, the film will follow a therapist who will soon be entering a strange and unsettling world found in the department store in search of finding her missing patient. Now, reception of this directorial debut and take on the series has been very well received by critics, with praising its atmosphere, its tension, narrative themes, and performances, even if some may feel it's a bit mixed outcome, mainly on the pacing side of things. And the case of some of the people that are reviewing it saying they think it was supposed to be based on some fan-made Roblox games, when it's based on a YouTube series, and people who find some reason to complain or get some clicks, you'll never know. But if you want to check this new strange place out for yourself, you can catch this film out now in cinemas. On the second of the films for this week is bringing us from the mysterious world to a journey all the way over to my homeland in the Emerald Isles, where the concept of music and bonding over the genre will lead to some misunderstanding, a new sense of rivalry, and a battle for the rights to be given back to who was rightfully for, as we have the release in the Battle of the Ages, as the release of an all-new film known simply as Power Ballad. Then the film will follow Rick, played by Paul Rudd, a past his prime wedding singer who comes across fading boy band star Danny, played by Nick Jonas, during a gig where they will soon bond over music in a late night jam session. But when Danny turns one of Rick's songs to a hit that reignites his career, Rick sets out to reclaim the recognition he deserves, even if it means risking everything he cares about. Now, reception on this new film has also seen some very well-received reception, with praising the lead performances of Rudd and Jonas, the narrative, concept, and just for being a feel-good film of this year, and seen as one of this year's best so far. If you want to check it out, this track listing for yourself, then you can catch this new film also out now in cinemas. On the first television show for this week, and the only bit of the superhero-based news that we have for this week in particular, is one that will be bringing us to another part of this massive spindled web of a multiverse, where we have the introduced to this character on the big screen almost about a decade ago, but looks like we'll be taking a dive into his own part of the universe of wall crawlers and show that seedy underbelly of the city, and mixed with his role of a private investigator, can get a lot more dangerous, as it's time to put on the suit, hat, and mask for this part of the Spider-Verse, as we have the release of the all-new TV series known as Spider-Noir. And the series will follow Ben Reilly, played once again by Nicolas Cage, an aging down his luck private investigator who grapples with his past life as the only superhero in 1930s New York known as the Spider. Soon, when an exceptional case comes his way, he will soon have to don the mask once more and become the Spider once again to help save the city from some powerful new threats. The reception of this new series has also been very well received, with praise in its performances, the concept of watching in two various options, the narrative, and for likes of the Spider-Verse films should be what the Sony-verse of Spider-Man adjacent projects should have been. And I can agree so far from what I've watched of this so far of the series. It's great. If you want to check it out for yourself, then you can catch all 8 episodes now in authentic black and white or true hue color now on Amazon Prime. On our game side of things, we start off with a big AAA title for this week, and we have seen many iterations of the distinct icon of fiction over the last 6 decades. It started with some novels, then turned into a massive movie franchise spanning 25 plus films to date, and even a few spin-off shows and interactive media. And it's with the latter aspect that we'll be focusing on this week, and going back to where it all began and seeing how this Asian got his moniker in the first place, as IOI, the studio behind the beloved Hitman franchise, is taking a crack on another iconic figure in media with their own take of the MI6 agent with the release of 007 First Light. And the game will have you in the role of a much younger James Bond, albeit not in connection to James Bond Jr., who will portray a 26-year-old man and an inexperienced MI6 agent who is tasked with a mission that is completed and not taken down in the process will be able to obtain an iconic 00 moniker and a true license to kill. The reception's new title has also been very well received, with praise in its narrative, visuals, performance, gameplay, and being a proper solid prequel to the character of Bond. If you want to get a license to kill, then you can play it now on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC, with a Switch 2 version releasing sometime later this year. Our last of the games and one of the new releases this week is a return to a company who had created one of the most beloved indie darling titles the last decade or so, and it seems they will be back with a new character to hopefully see as much as their original, but where this was first was a classic Man of Honor and some strong armor and quite unique form of weaponry, this will see a similar setting but more of a magical form and maybe a possible smaller hero in size, but have as much strength as you can expect. As Yacht Club Games, the creators of Shovel Knight, are back with their all new title, we finally have the release, the new game of Mina the Hollower. The game will revolve around the title character, a skilled inventor and hollower, who travels all the way to Tenebrose Isles to discover why her spark generators, which she has invented to power the island, have suddenly gone out under mysterious circumstances. The reception of this title has been very well received, with praise on its visuals, gameplay, challenge, and being another solid title that proved the studio was not a one-hit wonder, and seen as one of this year's best titles as well. And if you want to opt for the new adventure, you can play it now on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Switch 1 and 2, PC, and Mac. With all that regards, that's all the new releases that we do have for this week.
Yeah, have a seat back over there for me.
We have a fair few trailers this week, and we'll start on the side of animation for this week. And we are heading over to my personal favorite studio for it, and on the aspects of returning back to the world found inside the toy box for this ordeal, where we have our experience with playing some of our toys back when we were younger, and enjoying that sense of imagination. But in this case, with the changing times, the ideals of the world may be about to change, as we have the release of the final trailer for the upcoming release of Toy Story 5. Now this will follow on from the events of the last film, Woody having left behind to help abandoned toys find new owners, with Bowen has made Jessie the leader of the toys, with Buzz as her second in command. But soon the age of the toys may be coming to an end, as Bonnie has now become enamored by her new favourite plaything, a frog-like tablet named Lilypad. Now has seen been the ideals, there has been quite a debate when it comes to the likes of when this series should have come to a proper conclusion, with some saying 3 was a perfect send-off, some will say 4 works a great conclusion for Woody's character, but I can see it on my own terms. I love both of those movies, and I even say that I can see at least with this film being a worthwhile place to wrap it up, especially with the concept of being a solid place to end with toys versus tech as a proper place to wrap it all up in the regards. I know there is a mention of the ideals they have at least for 2 more projects in the series, but I'm sure I can see what they are to do down the line, but I think personally this could be a good place to close it off, but I'll give this one a chance and focus to see first. I'm very excited to check this one out, as I am for any Pixar movie in particular, and we'll see how this all comes together when it releases in the cinemas for playtime in about 3 weeks time on June 19th. Our second trailer this week will be focused on the side of streaming, and it will be a case of the ideas of the focus of this being a mystery afoot, and it'll be a case that while we have ideas of, some important aspects of a mystery and kidnapping afoot, this young sleuth will be finding out more about the mystery of one other thing, and that is with marriage. As the younger sister of Sherlock Holmes is back once again, and more we received a trailer for a third film in the Enola Holmes series. Now the film will see Enola preparing for her impending wedding to Lord Tewksbury, but soon becomes a case of being a little more complicated when it's discovered that her brother Sherlock Holmes has been kidnapped, and a mystery to rescue him will soon bring things into chaos. Now in the case of this series has been one that has had a bit of a mixed positive aspect, as I know there was a lot of people who really liked the first one. I'm one of them. I think it was fine, and many projects that MBB has been in, this is one of her more decent roles. The sequel, while I have yet to watch, I've heard was good, but some say it felt too similar in aspects to the original movie, but maybe I'll give a look at some point and give my opinion on that one too. But in this one I think the idea could be interesting of a mystery mixed with the ordeals of a wedding, and the genre mystery has been thriving lately across different forms and creatives in mind, and while it may be a bit mixed on the lead actors with her range on things, I will give this a bit of a chance. It's not too long away either, as the wedding bells will be ringing soon when it drops onto Netflix from the 1st of July. Our next trailer and the second animated focused release for this week is time to suit up, gather the team, prepare to find a solution to restore the world and timelines from the outcomes that has occurred in the event of things, but it'll be time for them to come to me, my X-Men, as we have the release of the first look trailer for the upcoming second season of the revival of X-Men 97. Now this new season will see the members of the X-Men scattered across time and must find a way back to the 1990s, while also dealing with the impending threat of apocalypse. Meanwhile, some of the members that are still in the present of the 90s and must deal and face off against new foes and the continued intolerance against mutants, with the absence of some of their other members. Now it really seems that the approach to this revival could have been an overall mess, with being a follow-up to the original series, but it seemed to prove there was an appeal overall for this project, and personally, I have seen a bit of it, and it's solid. Now I've been watching for the original series first to properly engage and focus on it overall, but so far what I've seen is pretty good. But just give me hope that it will give the continued success and story and see a revival for some of these other classic series continuations, particularly with a certain wall crawl that people have been hoping for. But I'm sure we'll see the outcome of this in due time, and it's not long from release either, as it's continued that the new season will be releasing on the Disney Plus starting from the 1st of July as well. Our next trailer and focus is one that I was quite surprised to see pop up on my feed in all regards, but the approach, concept, and lead portraying another person known in media is quite something, and has proven their worth in taking down some of the most renowned people that live and walk among us. But in this case, why not have a seat over there, as we have the release of the all-new film coming to us from A24 known as Primetime. And the film will tell the origin, the rise, and the creation of the Dateline NBC News magazine series of To Catch a Predator, which saw host Chris Hansen, and is played by Robert Pattinson, confronting adult men looking to do sexual favors with minors and get lured to a sting house to serve justice on these dangerous individuals. Now, this teaser came out of nowhere to me this week, and personally from all the focus in this teaser is amazing. And I feel from every recent project from this indie to the blockbuster, Pattinson really has got so much range and focus. I really tried to typecast him as the vampire from Twilight all those years ago, didn't we? Personally, it does look like really solid, and I have to wonder in this regard if this will be the rise of the series and we'll see some recreations of the most well-known sequences and predators in this show, and if it will lead up to the one that basically got the show taken off the air. But I'm sure we can get an idea of it in due time, and personally hope this could be a big award contender for Pattinson. But I'm sure we'll see this operation come about when the film releases in cinemas later this year, probably around a September release for it in this regards. For the final trailer for this week will be one more shows on the way in due time that will of course bring in the focus again on things getting bigger, the battles getting bloodier, and the fires beginning to rise as more conflict amongst the massive family that rules this land with Dragonfire is about to show even more fractures, as we have the release of the final trailer for the upcoming third season of House of the Dragon. The new season will focus on from the events of the end of season 2, and we'll see the growing conflict between Rhaena Targaryen and Aegon II Targaryen, as the war and conflict enters a new phase of the growing internal war with the effects of dragons, armies, and political decisions will soon shape the future of Westeros. Now, similar to the case of how I discussed about a fair amount a few weeks ago, this particular entry of the series has been quite the odd state, as while the first season was well liked and brought people back to the series after the original, the follow-up was a little more confusing and underwhelming, but had its appeal in some aspects, and in case this was what the showrunner seems to not be getting on well with the author of this world. But given there was appeal from the previous series to the world earlier this year with the tales of Duncan and Egg, I see this possibly having a hopeful turnaround, especially with the season starting with one of the most well-known battles in the books themselves. I hope we'll see some solid footing the last 2 seasons of television, but I guess we'll find out in due time, as the series will be released on the HBO Max from the 21st and 22nd of June. With all that regards now, that's all the new release trailers that we do have for this week. Now, this week's news stories and hodgepodge is not as big as the feast as we were expecting, but rather it's more of a smaller scale tasting platter of stories that still have some interest in the likes of project updates from new people coming on board or dates of when we see this project in due time. But I'm sure we'll find something to appease the news quantity of this week, but let's look into what those projects are in particular. Now, we'll start with the focus of the narratives of some new project updates, and it seems we have a new idea of some new additions trying to give their spin on a beloved franchise of films, with this one being recently confirmed to be in development, and it all comes down to the focus of a character with the importance of kindness, manners, and marmalade. As reported, we have the official writers and possible director for the upcoming 4th film in the Paddington series, the confirmation that Veep and thick of it creators and writers of Armando Iannucci and Simon Blackwell will be penning the script for this upcoming entry, and we'll be seeing the director of the previous film of Douglas Wilson possibly back in the director's chair after the success of his previous take on the series with Paddington in Peru. Now, I like the approach that seems to be going on with this franchise and the likes of seeing some new faces taking a spin on the series of films. That's a concern of not working out properly from the outside, but over the course of the last 12 years has become one of the most beloved adaptations in recent memory, and in all case of things, I see what will come of this project. Now, the one thing I do hope we will see in some form will be the possibility that the original director and one of the writers of Paul King may be back in some form to help with the story concept like he did with the 3rd film. I was not able to direct that last one due to him being busy with that Wonka movie, and it's unclear if he's helming that reported sequel or making that Labubu movie still, but who knows. I guess we'll find out down the line, and I'm excited and always welcome more adventures with this lovable little bear. Now, at the moment, there's no word on when we expect this new film, but if there's any updates on this, I'll provide that in a later episode. The rest of our stories is we be focused on some release date content, and the first one is one I actually seem to have slipped from my mind from last week, but looks like we will try and make sure to fix that mistake, which seems to fit with the role the main focus of this unexpected follow-up will entail. I was confirmed at the end of last week that the new sequel-based project from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood in the form of The Adventures of Cliff Booth has now gone an official release date. The title is said to have a 2-week exclusive IMAX window starting from the 25th of November before it has the official release on Netflix from the 23rd of December. Now, it does seem like it has a big case for the approach that Netflix was one to have some big project in their fall-winter bracket that was initially set for Greta Gerwig's Narnia adaptation before that was delayed to February for a longer theatrical release then, and once again with the move up mess of the chances of an IMAX screenings for the new Hunger Games film. Now, from the small bit of footage released during Super Bowl, it does have some interest, and while I have a little mix initially on the original film from Tarantino, I feel this could fix some issues and be worth a double feature watch for this. But I'm sure we'll see what will come of this in due time, and I'm sure we'll get more new looks and an idea of the story before its short film release this November. As for our second big release day announcement, is seeing more to focus on the likes of the more gritty and darker side of conflict and war, and be a focus that while we have seen them in their prime and in the more older state of form, it looks like this legendary soldier with his violent methods of killing will be getting a focus to where we see it all began real soon. As announced this week, the upcoming prequel film film based on the character of Rambo, within title John Rambo, and starring Nicholas Centino, has officially gotten a release date, with this title now dropping in just a little over a year from now on June 4th, 2027. Now, the concept and idea about the project I feel was a surprising turnaround, as I am mistaken to think this had not started filming yet. I was surprised to see this date be unveiled just like that. Now, personally, I think the choice for the young Rambo seems like a solid choice, and it looks like he has the build and look to it as well, and some of the other additions are interesting, even surprising of one of them, with the likes of David Harbour, Yao, Jefferson Wright, and surprisingly, James Franco is in this project as well. I will see what the concept and outcome of this will be in the future. I feel it'll be worth seeing some footage or first look soon enough, but I'm sure we'll get an idea of what to expect by its release in early June next year. The last of our stories and release date prospects is one that's more of a delay side of things. Now, on confirmation, and it seems I've lost track with this upcoming game title, how many times this may have been delayed. But we have another notch in this delayed belt, as was announced this week that the upcoming reboot and take on the title of Fable has been delayed out of fall 2026 and now be launching in February. Don't know a specific date in this month as of yet. Now, the reason for this delay is mainly down to the decision of the new head of the studio, who, might I add, has been in the form of some other companies like Sony, Nintendo, and even Steam, has actually been getting some solid wins lately. With changed logo, focused solely on making proper solid titles and not using AI or live service as the crutch, and even doing the opposite of other studios, reducing some pricing, mainly in the Game Pass system. They have specified that it is make sure that they have some moments to be a major focus of gaming. Given the fall, it's a busy period issue with other titles like Halo Campaign Evolved, Gears of War EDA, and many more, as well as competition like Wolverine and GTA 6. Then I can understand the delay and was worried there was more concepts and aspects being added delayed it, but I think it's a solid strategy, getting there first before some other titles. Now, as time has gone on, I have been a lot more interested to try this new title out, especially the recent trailer focus on some concept that has a lot of appeal and seems to be listening to some fans, and I'm all for checking it out and exploring this magical new world in due time. But I'm sure we'll see what will come of it, hopefully next February, and as soon as I get a date on the title, I'll update in a later episode. But what do you make of all these stories? Do you think the new writers will make another solid Paddington film? Will you be checking out the new Cliff Booth film in cinemas or wait for the Netflix release? Are you excited for the Rambo prequel film? And do you see this as the last Fable delay? Let me know what you think down below in all this. In all that regards, that's all the news that we do have for this week.
3 years! I've been in here for 3 years!
Of all that regards, now it ends episode 158, where my news and a whole bunch of my ramblings for around 20 minutes or so. And by the timing of this episode's recording, this will be exactly 3 years since I started my journey on this channel. And personally, I'd like to thank you all for just bearing with me over the years. Like, I know I'm not the best of content creators or the most entertaining or the most, enthusiastic a lot of the time, but it's been a weird journey and, a lot of ups and downs. And I feel like if I hadn't been doing this, I don't even know if I would still even be here, most of the way. But I appreciate those that, check me out over time and just support my content over the years. And even some that I feel like wish were still here, I feel they're still there. Thank you all deeply from the bottom of my heart for giving me a chance and supporting. But in the case of regards now, I was going to give a quick update on some other stuff. So in case of reviews wise, I am going to get back to doing some more running the Last of Us. I'm going to do Digital Circus next and do some other bits and pieces, including like Snack Size Box Office, a few other different genre stuff and things like that. I'm going to add at least another 2 or 3 onto there. Like that includes Sheep Detectives, Mortal Kombat 2, Obsession, and Mandalorian and Grogu. I've seen all 4 of them. All variation peels. Mortal Kombat's good. Sheep Detectives, like Raida. Mandalorian and Grogu, I had a fun time with. Obsession was pretty good from what people said. Not sure if it's like a masterpiece, but I can see in regards to things, but I'll get to those in due time. Gameplay wise, I think by the time I record this, I will upload the demo VOD of Tomodachi Life. I'm gonna have to re-record the opening part of Hollow Knight because for some reason I keep forgetting the VODs expire for some reason after 2 months, but it's annoying in regards to things. I might have to do some bits where I might have to just record normal gameplay in regards to things because I think I noticed lately I think with my setup with streaming that it's a bit laggy sometimes with games, but I hope it's the case. If you watch my streams, just let me know. But I'll be probably doing more stuff like, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Mario Wonder, Cyberpunk, Tomodachi Life, Hollow Knight, all these other ones to be coming back, so look forward to those. As well as the new games like Ventilate and all that regards to things. In the case of long form stuff regards to things, I'm going to get to anticipated media, I'm going to get to Harmo's Board, Rewatchathon, AI Audience Choice Video, the time-lapse videos, more VOD streams, more different concepts. They're all coming, so look forward to those. With regards to things now, I'm going to leave it there for now. So if you like what you've seen here, want to see more from me more frequently, then simply like, subscribe. I open new stuff every single week. I'm hoping to reach 750 to 1,000 subs this year, so if there's any possibility to do that, I would be ever so grateful. Let me know your thoughts on everything discussed this week down below from the new releases, trailers, and news stories. I'll gladly read through them and just give my thoughts and stuff in that regards of things. If you want 10% off Pure Crack, and use my code Sam Harrison. That's all one word, all caps. Just get yourself a nice tasty beverage. With that regards now, I'll leave it there for now. So as always, you will stay wonderful people. Have a great day every day. Do many great things and keeping you because no one else can do what you do. And take care of yourself because mental health is very important and checking on your friends like that regards of things. I've been your host Sam, of course. and I shall see you all in the next episode. So take care, I'll see you later, and thank you for 3 years.